Hey guys, this is a tutorial on how to use the extension, or add-on I should say, AutoCrat. And so this is starting off from fresh, from scratch making a document, from scratch making a Google spreadsheet to create your merged documents. So to start things off, you need a doc, and you also need a So to start things off, you need a doc and also a spreadsheet. It might be blank if you're starting off fresh, and eventually you can add on to it, but here we go. So the basics behind this is that in your Google Doc, this is the document that you're going to either send out or give to people, but this is what we're eventually going to push all of the data to and merge it, all right? So what we rely on in here are these little things called tags, and how you make it is on your keyboard, you do shift and then, well, I call it the left caret, and then a word, and then shift right caret. So that makes a tag. And tags work because it will put the corresponding mapped data in your Google spreadsheet, which we don't have anything yet, but we're going to make it, into the tag in the document. So if I wanted to say something about conference sign up coming up, I would say maybe something like, hi, your conference is scheduled for Okay, so what we're going to do is in our Google spreadsheet, we're going to put a column which has student, a column with tag or date, and a column with time. All right, so obviously if this was an actual document, I would get rid of all of this stuff and I would like jazz it up and make it look really nice. But for the time being, we're just going to leave it at that, and we're going to move over to our spreadsheet. So what I like to do is whenever I have tags in my document, I like to make it the same tags in my spreadsheet so that I don't get too confused. So I know that I need student, date, and time. Now something else you can do in here too is if you choose to email these out, and even to more than one email address, I usually make a couple of rows for email, knowing that I have a student email and probably one or two, if not more, parent emails, okay? So I usually do email 1, email 2, email 3, but you can call them whatever you'd like. And then we have to name our columns for our tags. So here's our student. So we're going to go student. Notice you don't need the little tags around them in here. This one's going to be date. And the next one's going to be time. All right. And then this way you can now put in all of your student information. Now, it works good if you have this in a running spreadsheet somewhere else where you can just copy paste. But let's just say, for example, that I have Bob, Sue, and Charlie for students in my class. And let's say I have their emails. These are not their real emails. I'm just making them up right now because one of the options I have is to actually email it to them. And let's say Bob has a parent, and let's say that Sue has 2 parents. Once again, these are just fake email addresses. And once you have all of this stuff set up, it's really easy to reuse too. You can just copy and paste. Okay, let's say Charlie doesn't have any associated parent email addresses, so we're just going to leave that blank. You can leave fields blank, that's fine. So let's say Bob's conference is set up for November 1st. Sue's is November 1st as well, and Charlie's is October 31st, let's say 31st. It's on Halloween for some reason. And the time we'll say 4 p.m., 3 p.m., and 3 p.m. here. Oops. Okay, so now we have all of our data in, and obviously if you had more students, you would keep filling this out until all of your columns are good. The next thing you need to do is in your Google spreadsheet, you need to go get the add-on AutoCrat. I already have it, so it's showing up, but if not, you need to go to the add-on store, as I call it, and search for AutoCrat. And I have it, so mine comes up as manage, but yours would come up if you did not have it as the free. So make sure it's AutoCrat by New Visions Cloud Lab and click the free button, and then you're good to go. And it might ask you a couple of things. It might ask you to approve something, just click yes. And then back in here, we're going to actually open up AutoCrat. And sometimes this takes a little bit of time to open. It's a little fussy sometimes, but it should pop up right away. Sometimes if you have a lot of data in here, it will take a little bit longer as well too. So when you open up the screen, if you have previous jobs in here that you have merged, then it will show up, but we're pretending that this is fresh. So it says no merge job set up yet. So we're gonna just click new and get started. Call your job name something. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just something that you might remember when you go back to the home screen. So I'm gonna say conference sign up fall. Then you have to choose a template. So this is going to be this document, which would be helpful if we named it. I like to name my document in my spreadsheet the same thing, or at least the sheet in my spreadsheet. So back in here, we're going to go from Drive, and we're going to find our sheet. And the nice thing about Google is they give you the recent option too. So here is our sheet. Select it. It'll take a second to get it all set up and connected. And then we're going to hit next. So this is our template that we're working with. One of the other things I should have pointed out is if you can see down here where I have student password card, you can use tags in the title. And it's kind of nice because then if you're sending it out to a student, it will put the student's name in there. So if I wanted to, what I could have done with this is I could have gone back and done, I could have done that too. Okay, so we'll go on. This page looks intimidating, but it doesn't have to be intimidating at all. And all we need to do really here is we need to grab the merge tab. And this is the sheet we're working in. Had I been smarter and actually named it something, the name of the sheet would have come up. So I'm just going to do tag or sheet 1, and it's going to take a moment, but it's going to load all of the tags. And then all we're going to do is go through and map the tags in here to our spreadsheet. Notice that this is coming up because in here I have that, so it's pulling it in and it wants to map it to one of these, but I don't have tag in here, so you can ignore that for now. So student here is going to map to the student on my spreadsheet, so that's good. Sometimes it's able to pick these up automatically, and sometimes you have to go through. The date maps to date, and time in here will map to time, which is hiding behind my AutoCrat dialog box right now. So we're good to go. And we're going to hit next. And then we need to name it something. Here it reminds you that you can use tags to the merge sheet column. And if you need help with that, there's some tags on the side over here. And so I'm just going to grab the student tag, and by clicking it, it actually copies it, and then I can just paste it and then just title it. You have the option of a Google Doc or a PDF, and there's a couple of different output options. One of them is that it puts each merge in a separate sheet, or it combines all of them into one sheet. So it's up to you. For this time through, I'm just going to do a single document. You can add page breaks if you want, and then we're going to hit next. If you're sending this out by email or sharing it with students, please make sure you select multiple documents because you don't want all of the information in one form being sent out to everyone. For now, I'm going to pretend I'm not sharing this with anyone, and I'm just going to print it. So I'm going to go next. Then you need to choose where it's going to go. So find a folder. Just for now, I'm going to put it here. Select it. You can always make a new folder. You can skip this step. You can skip this step as well too. If you want more information on this, you can let me know. This is the step where it's going to ask you if you want to share and send emails. For this time through, we're not going to. I'll show you in another video on how to do this. But for now, we're not going to share it, and we're just going to do next. You don't need any job triggers. We're going to hit save. If you ever have an unmapped tag, it'll warn you about it. And sometimes if you can't get rid of it, what you're going to have to do is go back to your sheet and then go back here and reselect your template. And you can see it got rid of it that time. So we're good to go. Okay, so it's saving my job now, and what's going to happen is, depending on how much data you have in there, it might take a little bit longer, but it's going to take you what I call back to the home screen where you have existing jobs. So this is the job we've created. It gives you some options to get rid of it, to edit it, and to actually run it. So we're going to go ahead and run our job. So we're going to click Run the Job. You'll see a couple different things pop up. It'll tell you the merge sequence started. It'll eventually tell you how many rows it's going to merge. Since I have 3 rows of data, I'm really hoping that 3 rows are going to show up. And if you can kind of see off to the side over here, it's already showing that it's merging. And when it's done, close your screen. And it will give you all of this crazy stuff that you really don't have to worry too much about, because if you go in your drive, it is there too. But I'll just show you the link from here. So this is our created document. And the one thing with this is, because since it put it in a single document, is that it just titled it the first line. If they were multiple documents, each document would be titled differently. But remember, we had page breaks in ours, and so don't freak out if you selected page breaks and you don't see all of the rest of your data. If you scroll down below, here's Bob. Here's Sue. And here's Charlie with their mapped information. So we said Charlie was October 31st at 3, and indeed, Charlie, October 31st at 3 o'clock. Okay? So that is how you do AutoCrat to merge some documents. Hope you enjoyed it.